shadows where the whispers dwell, always trying to unring the bell. The red road calls a path less known, with haunted streets where the eerie winds moan. Creatures lurking just beyond the light, not just tales spun to frighten the night. The masquerade of ghosts, they walk along in this gritty realm. We're all too young. Take the red road, let the spirits unfold. Follow RezNeck, Calkins, let the mysteries be told. Through the dark we'll weave into the unknown. With each step we take closer to home. They say it's fantasy, those hidden cries, but the brave-hearted witness the truth in the sky.
Welcome back to another night of Red Road Paranormal, everyone. Tonight, I have a blast from my past, a man that I've known forever, it seems like. Someone I consider a brother. Further ado, let's introduce him, Mr. Christopher Clark. Please bring Chris up.
Hey, how you doing out there, RezNeck? Good to see you again. And you look exactly the same as you did when I first met you at age, what was that, 10? 9?
Oh, something like that. Fourth grade, I think.
Maybe, you know.
Yeah. This was the days before Google, y'all, before we could just jump online and communicate with everyone. We actually had to communicate in person.
You'll remember I had a computer, though, because I let you play on it. It was a TI-99 4A. And,
yeah, the old green screens and grays and blacks, and that was all you had.
The good old days. Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Yes.
You know, who would have known that one of the games this man has designed was a game called Jam, where you got chased through a house by a monster. Who would have known all these years later? I'd be the one chasing monsters.
Well, I think you did, but
I had no clue this was in my future.
What's interesting, when we met, it was actually at the old house your folks were renting in Bensonville area, Wooddale, right there, and that place had spooks.
That was the house that if anyone's listened to the show or any of the podcasts I've been on, where I talk about how we had knocks on the attic door and footsteps. And if you didn't answer, you'd hear the footsteps go back upstairs. Or if you said yes, come through, you hear the door handle jingle. That was the house. Not only did I have experiences in that house, my parents had experiences in this house, and also my cousin, which hopefully one day I'll get him on the show. You can hear his experience because he had kind of the best ones out of all of us, I think.
That was an early turn of the century. So I want to say 1914 era build house.
Yep.
So it was at that time. Gosh, when was that, my friend? That was
that would have been
early
80, 85-ish.
House. And I forget. Your dad was somewhat sensitive. I think your mom was actually more sensitive. But that was not a happy spirit in that house.
No. You had one that wasn't too happy, not too thrilled to share its space. But you also had the ones that from the attic that would basically chill in the attic and leave you alone until they wanted to roam around the house. If you let them roam, they'd be all right. If they didn't, it was almost like you heard a pouty kid walking back up the attic stairs. You know, just doof, doof, doof.
No, I was on the first floor a couple times. In the first floor, they didn't visit much. But boy, I could feel it the minute I was on the second floor. It's like somebody does not want me here. Holy cow.
Well, a little thing about that place, I remember when we did the initial walkthrough, down in the basement, there's big, huge tubs of water. When we came back to actually take the house over, which was a matter of just a few days, they were all empty and dry. Never once no one knew why or how or what. You know?
And I never went down to the basement in that place. I don't think I wanted to be honest with you.
Yeah, we had one of them dual level basements in that house. One level of the basement we had set up as a recording studio. I don't know, remember that when we were managing one singer.
Frank was
and the other basement at the bottom half is what we consider the creepy basement. That had the original coal chute room and everything in it.
Well, and that's probably why it was a dual basement, is because they built a coal room onto it.
Yeah, definitely. That was all the main plumbing and everything was set up down there in that section. and where we had the recording studio kind of was like where you went to gather almost. It was linoleum floor, wide open.
Yeah.
So, but we jumped right into this. Let's back this up a second here.
Sure.
Let's tell everyone about you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Talk about what you do, what you're all about, before we go any further into the paranormal.
It was fun. I ran into Robbie because I met his father because I was a somewhat, well, certainly less talented than I am now, a car nut, and I was looking for parts for cars that were 20 to 25 years old, and there was only really one local store in the Bensonville area, which is where I worked at the time, that sold old car parts. And all of the other guys at the parts place referred me to, you need to talk to Bob because he's the guy who knows. And so I got to know Bob, and he was very curious because I was buying strange parts. It's like, why are you trying to preserve a 1967 land yacht New Yorker, for gosh sakes? And I took him out for a ride. And, he says, I know what this is. You're in love with the 440 that's in front. And we wound up being 440 brothers, I guess, is a good way to put it. And we got closer and closer, started buying some cars and fixing them together, and wound up in about hip deep in business before any of us left Bensonville. And then at a given point in our relationship, I decided to move further north to my old stomping grounds. And Bob didn't really want to sign the lease because they were going to, on the place we just discussed, that had the ghosts in the attic and whatnot, but they were going to raise the rent quite a bit. So he said, well, gosh golly, why don't we go with you? And we rented an entire farm on off of a street called Rollins Road in Lake County, Illinois. And it was a big 40-acre farm with two garages and a full pole barn in back that was 2 stories tall. And all of them were in good shape, but they were all packed to the gills with just old garbage and whatnot. And so, we spent a while cleaning them out, and while cleaning them out, we learned that there were others there at the time. Although it was funny, there was a certain pressure, you shouldn't be here pressure when we first looked at the place. Once we started cleaning things out and making them work again, they were happy we were there.
Yep.
Yeah. Except for the one that lived in the basement that you mentioned, where, I would go downstairs. I wanted to see, could the basement be used for anything? And no, it really couldn't. It was basically just fieldstone footings and dugout trenches to get to things that were just in the dirt. But it had lights, and it had, you could wander around down there, check the hot water heater and whatnot. But I would go down, I would turn off all the lights, and then we'd go to the track for the day because RezNeck's dad and I raced cars at Union Grove.
Great Lakes Dragway.
I'd come home and I'd look downstairs and all the lights would be on again. And I'd look around, who's playing me wise here,
Yeah.
And turn them all. Finally, it got to the point where I got so aggravated because I was sure someone was having one on me, as we used to say in those days, that I unscrewed the bulbs and laid them on top of the fieldstone footings, and came down the next day and they were screwed back in.
Yeah. And on.
Yeah. And on. And I was, oh my goodness. I tried everything I could, and no, they wanted the lights on, so we left the lights on. The heck with it,
Yeah.
To save $3 a month on the electric bill, it's not worth it. Pay the extra $3. Leave people.
Yep.
Well, at that point, I thought, let people be happy. And I'm of a different opinion at this point. Yeah.
Gotta let the spirits be happy. Give them what they want.
Be happy.
Co-mingle.
When in Rome, yes.
Speak
Italian or something like that. Yeah. But
that was the first house I ever seen an apparition. Just as a little boy, I remember I was upstairs. And when you went upstairs, you went around the banister, you had the bathroom, and you went through like this little room here that you had set up as an office at one point.
Right. Yep.
And then went back to my parents' room. Well, I seen a gray mist right in front of that window in your office room. And I think it was I can't remember if it was right before you guys moved out or right afterwards. I was coming downstairs and it caught me. It's like, I looked, I'm like, and I bolted for mom. And mom at dinner table so casually to my dad that night. Oh, Robbie's seen his first ghost.
When we looked at the place, that little boy's spirit was your bedroom. That was his spot. Now, I don't know did you ever find like things that had been moved around in the night?
Not that I remember.
Because he was very interested in all of the different game stuff I was writing games and things even back then, and he was very interested in all the gaming stuff that I would have out. And I would occasionally find, because remember I had those miniatures and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
He'd have moved them around and arranged them in the morning, and I was like, you know what? As long as they're not getting bent up or broken, I don't care.
Right.
You know, do what you want to do. And I at that point again, I was sure you were probably sneaking in there and play, and I didn't care if you played with them as long as they didn't get hurt, and you know. But yeah.
No, I remember I used to watch you guys build the little models and everything else for the cities and paint all the little figurines for it. Never once had an urge to play with it unless you guys were out playing the game. And that would have been back then. You were playing Inner City, building the actual building for that.
There's actually a newer version of it now. It just keeps selling, so every once in a while I come out with a new version of it.
Well, I'm gonna have to get my hands on one. I think somewhere in my storage.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the new cover.
I can't see it.
That's all right. This is not the show about Chris's games. It's okay.
Hey, it can be. We talk about everything here.
Oh, you are such an advertising whore. No, I'm kidding. It as you remember, it's just a violence roller coaster. I was so tired of those cop shows where the cops always won. So I wrote a game where the players would win by burning down buildings and committing crimes that the cops couldn't nail them for. You know.
Yep. Yeah, building mafia families.
Yeah, exactly.
Duel the Butcher and Super Dude.
But mostly people like it because it's not terribly serious. It's just a violence roller coaster.
Right.
To be honest with you. So,
I always liked the fact that it was a modern day city version of the classic D&D.
Yeah,
that's what I've always compared it to. And I thought it was an awesome niche, and still is.
Well, it's funny. I wrote D&D stuff back then, but if you want to be successful in anything, don't be the tree in the forest, be the tree in the meadow, because then you stand out. So you have to differentiate yourself somehow. And I also had a bunch of friends in high school that wouldn't play D&D with me because it was that weird Dungeons and Dragons game. And so I wrote a game I knew they could play because, no, we're going to play against Starsky and Hutch tonight, you know.
Right.
I'm sorry, Husky and Starch, because I don't want to get sued. So.
Right.
Yeah. And that was the thing too, is that it's not a terribly serious game. I have a rather warped sense of humor, and it comes through. Yes.
Yeah. So, for my firm edition, if you took, like the Grand Theft games that are on our consoles and kind of bump it back to that era, you had Inner City.
Oh, I know. I'm pretty sure somebody at Rockstar Games has a copy of Inner City sitting on his shelf.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't care.
Because I've spent many hours just relieving stress by running around, wreaking havoc, blowing things up and running from the cops games. It's such a stress reliever. I need to go back to that once in a while.
And it's much safer than playing Grand Theft Auto in real life.
Yeah, not all of us know what you're doing. Some of us do, but shh. Anyways.
Although Robbie knows. I'm sorry, Robbie. RezNeck knows my wife, Marsha, because I was dating her at the time. She's developed a taste for Lexus, and I can now explain to you, because we have one, why the Lexus LS is a part of many of those Grand Theft Auto games, because they are hot rods. Now, not like your dad and I used to build hot rods.
No,
it's not even close, but you can run the slalom at 80 miles an hour, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it's
move
on rails. Yeah. Nice car. But
definitely.
and then afterwards, after after Robbie and I spent, and it was only about a year actually that we were at the farm.
Yep.
I moved to a different farm on Route 45, all of what, a mile and a half away, 2 miles maybe.
Something like that.
That my mom owned. I was there to be there temporarily while my girlfriend and I figured out how we wanted to get married and under what auspices and what were, do we want to have kids? And we got all of our garbage worked out. And by the way, we finally did get married and had 2. But that was, and they're both, I don't know, grown at least. So at this point,
I was at the wedding, but I never met the kids.
Well, one of them was at the wedding, but not present, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the whole hint. What do you have with me? Cross a lawyer and a game designer and find out in 9 months.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah. Brenda actually is living with a guy that is a bit older than she is and knows I won't say anything about it because, good Lord, we lived together for about 10 years. So, yeah. Before we finally did anything about it. But that house also had spirits. And the funny thing is, I knew that because as a kid growing up, there was one spirit in that house that did not like kids and would terrorize the kids. Oh, what do we do?
Kids bothering me. About kids. One's got to peek through the curtain.
Yeah, you gotta, that's such is fatherhood, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
So how many do you have?
4 total.
Oh my goodness.
4 biological and a half dozen adopted and stepchildren.
Okay, this is why you should have gotten into the gaming hobby sooner, see, because it would have kept you busy and you wouldn't have so many. But
I don't know. I was in the games back when I had most of them. So,
it's funny. Kids have this ability to restore your faith in mankind as a whole. They really do.
Either that or leave the WTF wrinkles in your forehead.
Well, I had a famous story I tell of my son when he turned 4, and he's all of 2.5 foot nothing, right? And 20 pounds. And he walks into Dad's office on his back porch where I'm working on a book with Gary Gygax. And he says, "Dad, I'm screwed." And I was like a little surprised to hear that word coming out of my son, but okay. And I said, "Why are you screwed, son?" And he said, "Well, because Brenda won't play with me." And "Why won't Brenda play with you?" "Because she wants to play outside. Mom says I can't go outside because I have the sniffles." And I looked him in the eye and said, "Son, yeah, you are screwed."
Yep.
And he just kind of pouted and went in the other room. Gary's like, "You're a cruel, cruel father." Yes, well, sometimes, once in a while.
No, you're just a realistic father. That's all.
But yeah, the same spirit that haunted me as a child haunted my son, and he had the same room I had when I was a kid. I inherited the house from my mother before he arrived, but around that time, and so one night he came to me just white as a sheet and shaking and upset, and so we walked back upstairs, and I could actually see her, and he's like, "You can see her too, Dad?" "Yes, I can." And she was an 80-year-old woman, and she wore black, which led me to believe that she was in a mourning garb, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at her and I said, "You need to cut this crap out right now. You really need to, because if you don't, I'm going to lose my temper, and you're not going to have another quiet moment in this house." And she looked at me over the top of her horn-rimmed glasses and turned around and went back in that big walk-in closet that was in that one room. Yeah, that's where she would hang out. So
that's the thing with the other side. If you put your foot down and put your boundaries down, say, "Hey, this is what I'm allowing you. This is it." 9 times out of 10, they listen.
Yeah.
And the ones that don't, they play faithful. Either way, I'm cool with it.
That expression is not that old, so I still get a charge out of it, I guess. But
my generation, gotta love us.
Well, because we don't have a choice. She never did bother my son again, though, which is, "Dad, I can't believe that worked." And I said, "Well, honey, they're people. Treat them like they're people, and you might be surprised. Most people are pretty good folks. Once in a while, they're a little ornery, but you just have to take no crap from the ornery, And if you find out that that doesn't work, then we need to get somebody else in here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will tell you the full story I was telling you before. We had that old house had radiator heat, so it had a boiler, right?
Mm-hmm.
The boiler was as old as I was, and I grew up at that farm, so say 40, 45 years old. And of course, it was due to go down. What happened was a bird flew in through the exhaust and died on the heat exchanger and blocked the furnace. And the heat exchanger burned up. So, okay. So we finally found somebody that still sold a boiler at A.O. Smith. And I had a bunch of friends over helping me put it in. Well, when I would work late night, and this is in the basement of our house, of course, the front part of the basement I had fully rehabbed, had a nice built-in bar and sitting area and all this wonderful stuff. And the back area was a workshop and then a coal room, much like you guys had at the other house. Okay.
Yep.
Now the coal room always had kind of a tense feeling to it, and the furnace was right outside the coal room. But I discovered working late at night as a high school kid that there was an old man's spirit in the house, and he would like to come up and see what I was working on, whatever it was. And he was very, I want to say, non-intrusive about it. He was very polite about it. And so finally I turned around one night and said, if you want to see, come see. If you have a means to ask me questions about what I'm up to, feel free to ask. I don't mind. And after that, he would show up anytime I was working down in the basement and just for a couple of minutes. And then I'd turn around to see him and he'd look at me and then he'd be gone. And he would kind of just fade into a little mist. And so he didn't, I don't know, as though he didn't like the attention, but I didn't want him to feel alienated either. So anyway, we're there that night and we're putting this furnace in, and there's two of my friends from Phoenix, Arizona, and the guy from across the street and a guy from downtown Chicago that's a plumber. And we're all huddled around this new boiler and we're getting all the pipes hooked up. And then in from the coal room walks the old man. And my one buddy from across the street looks at me and goes, "Who did you invite, dude?" And it's like, he's always here. What? And then he goes to miss, okay? And my two friends from Arizona look at me and go, "Stop that!" Like I'm doing it, Don't do that. Oh, that's scary. Stop that. And it's not scary. It's just the old guy. He likes to see what I'm doing. I said, I never did find out what his name was, but I think he was the original owner of the house. And he built the place. So he likes to be sure that when I fix stuff, I fix it right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to go home. So yeah, the two guys from Phoenix left right after that. They had to go. They couldn't stay in the house anymore. We did get the furnace hooked up. It took a little longer, but yeah, we got it hooked up. It was fine.
You sure you weren't doing any kind of illusion tricks or something like that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I keep it up my sleeve.
Right.
And I grew up in the older houses, and there was almost always a presence in an older house.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something I wasn't used to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing most of Phoenix hasn't been around for that long, I guess. And so, yeah, these were the suburban kids that weren't ready for this sort of thing,
And see, I'm surprised because a lot of that land down there have stuff attached to the land. Yeah. Just because you put a brand new structure up on it doesn't mean you're not going to experience anything.
I don't know if you realized it, but another mile and a half further down the road is an old Civil War battlefield sign, because there was actually a Civil War battle out there closer to Sand Lake Road, Milburn area down there.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And so I'm sure there's a ton of I mean, it's interesting. I've been out east now because I'm older now. I travel a little bit more. And the further east you go, the more you run into that. There's less of it out west, which almost makes me wonder if the Native Americans passed from this life with less left over to do without quite so many unresolved issues.
Right.
And so maybe they are resting more peacefully than those who are not from around here, if we could say that.
It's possible. It's potentially possible in theory.
I mean, the entire Midwest was Iroquois and a little bit of Sioux, and they were everywhere out here.
Yeah, and you go up east into New York and Massachusetts and all that area, You had the Mohawks, you had the
Right.
Mohicans, which I'm part Mohican Nation. That's where our homelands are. So, yeah, and then we were just driven down and over to the west here to Wisconsin.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of people here for many, many, not hundreds even, but even thousands of years.
Yep.
And yet the only ghosts I've seen, whether it be out east or here in the Midwest, have all been basically old white people.
Yep.
Which is a little. I had one old black ghost when we were in Kenosha.
Okay.
And he was a stitch. He was an old gambler. And he used to come in when I play games on my Macintosh to see if I was gambling, you know.
I got a card game that I could play with an old gambler now. There's Brother Stu, the heathen. Brother Matt popped in there earlier, Lee Warner. We've had some good people here in the chats going on. But yeah, I have a card game that you play. It's basically kind of like a high-low type of game, but you use mag lights with it. And you deal the ghost a hand, and you give them the option of either keeping the cards they got,
right, or
discarding and starting over. But after everyone gets that one chance to start over, you flip over and see who's got the highest hand.
I don't know. I don't think you ever got to see the house. I was going to say, if you're down on Fifth Avenue, if the house is still there, yeah, he's a second floor ghost. His name was Richie. He would talk to me. Yep. I would not see him as much as hear him. And he was a really neat guy, and he just wanted to have some fun. He just, I didn't get to have enough fun, so I want to just have a little more fun.
Right.
Well, I explained to him that we had some ladies who, professional escort women, if you will, that lived in the house kitty corner behind us because we were right off the Mansion District in Kenosha, which is not a terribly great neighborhood.
Right.
And they were great. I mean, we were friends. I got to know them. I fixed their cars for them.
Right.
And I explained, Richie, the girls over in the house kitty corner here are very amenable. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
A little more forward for his time.
I think he was, for whatever reason, I don't think he could leave the house.
Yeah.
Because I told him, follow me out to the garage, because I worked on cars in the garage out there too, and but he never left the house. So
interesting,
weird stuff. All it led me to believe was that I have no concept of what's going on the other side. Period. I really just have no understanding.
Yep.
But why alienate anything that wants to try and communicate with you? I don't care if it's a crow or a dog or a spirit. Everything has a voice.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to not listen to it is to invite ignorance, in my opinion. So
Yep. Yeah. Prime example would communicate with anything. I don't know if you ever met my brother Gary, the one that was from Arizona, for my mom's first marriage. He's actually biologically one of my brothers.
Okay.
He was living up in this house here with me years ago. He was outside, and he's like, come outside. There's an owl out here hooting away. And then I was out there hooting in the woods, and I was like, I'll talk to him. I hoot back, and it hoots back to me. This goes on a few times. And then my brother's like, I'm going to try it. He hoots. Not a word. Nothing. Stone silence. I hoot back. I get a response. So yeah, communicate with anything and everything.
We always had mice in the house, and I would catch them, and I felt bad for them because they'd be the younger mice whose mother had passed, and then they'd root in your hair, trying to get you to give them milk, right? And so you pull them out of your hair gently, and I would take them outside and toss them into the driveway, and the owls would come out, bam, nail them, and that's nature. I mean, that's not me. I didn't do anything wrong. That's just how nature works. But the owls would talk to me after that. They're like, "Oh, this guy brings us food all the time. He's cool.
Right? It's our buddy.
This guy's cool."
They thought you thought that you were their food handler, their master, maybe.
And those barn owls are loud. Like, turn the TV up. I can't hear what's on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we chuck the mice out the front door when the cats are done playing with them.
Yeah. because something will eat them, and why let it go to waste? I mean, you know, if I make dinner and I'm paring the ends off the carrots and stuff, I toss them out back for the squirrels. They might as well eat good, you know.
Yeah.
And they don't go in my garage. As long as you don't go in my garage, you're welcome to anything that I have on my, you know, on my plate. But
Yeah.
the deer come up once in a while and eat the stuff too. So the deer are the only one that'll eat the celery stalks, though. The leftover, you know, the parings off the celery. The squirrels won't touch those.
I'm surprised the rabbits don't.
We don't have a lot of rabbits. We have osprey.
Okay.
I don't know if you got to visit the farmhouse on 45 maybe once or twice.
Back when your mom was still there.
Yeah.
When you were living with us still.
We had that house we had golden eagles. Now, you don't know what a golden eagle looks like. A nest that's 6 foot in diameter, and when the babies would come up, it would look like somebody going like this with their hand, you know. That's how big they were. Funny thing was, they would get into it with a huge flock of giant crows that we had that would be there for the field, and they would have these huge dog fights. I give this to the crows because they were vastly outgunned personally in terms of personal hardware.
Yeah.
But they held their own. Crows were much smarter than the eagles were. And I rescued one crow that had broken a wing. I put up a chicken wire surround over him just so that he wouldn't get eaten by foxes. And I fed him for a week with bugs and worms and grain and whatever I could find around. He ate what he wanted of it and didn't eat what he didn't want. But the funny thing was he would talk to me after a while, and we would talk while I would give him whatever the day brought. And 3 years later, this was when I was 15, 14. 3 years later, I'm out and back with my mom, and this crow comes and lands on my shoulder. And my mom is freaking out, like, "Are you okay? Is that thing crapping on you? What's going on? You know, oh my gosh." And he's squawking at me, and I'm squawking back, and he's rubbing his beak on me and stuff. And I was like, my mom was just, "Crows aren't like that." And I said, "Yeah, Mom, they really are. They're incredibly smart birds."
Yeah.
And you know, and I said, "This one just remembers me." "That's not the one you saved." "I think it is." I said, "He's got that same little single blue feather on the left wing." "Oh my God, this is too creepy." You know, and the crow looked at her, squawked at me once, and got up and flew away.
Well, that's you too, then, woman. I'm out of here.
But yeah, crows have long memory. They really do, and they are smart birds.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah.
So, have you ever been out on an actual paranormal investigation other than living in haunted?
I have
no. Well, we're gonna have to change that.
Excuse me. It's more a matter of time than anything else. I honestly, I'm 63 now, my friend, and
it's time to start slowing down a little bit.
No, I need to get through my to-do list while I'm still here, and there are days that I'm not sure that is going to happen. But I
got another 30 years.
Well, yeah, I have not added a project beyond spring of 2027. I'm not adding any more beyond that for now because I do want to enjoy myself a little bit. The new house, and we'll have to have you out. Okay. It's a newer house. There's no spirits in it. It probably mine will be here when I'm gone, but
right.
It has the same nice wood burning fireplace that I absolutely demand. Actually, it's a decent sized kitchen for a change.
Nice.
And we have a stream that runs past that borders the property, so we can go fishing. I even have a boat and everything. You know,
nice.
You know, yeah.
I hear the makings. If you want it to be haunted, we can make it haunted.
No, that's right.
Plenty there. I'm pretty sure we can play with.
I gotta ask you: do you or any of your companions get tinnitus on occasion when spirits are active?
Some do.
Okay, I do.
Yep.
And there are nights when there are. I think there are spirits from the old farm that we shared that are trying to find me because there were one or two that were not terribly friendly. I wouldn't call them malicious, but they weren't friendly. And I think they're still trying to figure out where I went because as you know, I have a temper. And we had a few arguments. So, and I'm not sure that they're satisfied those arguments have ended. But I get to the point where it'll wake me up at night, a ringing in my ears when there's a lot of activity.
There's some that believe that the ringing in the ears is that they're trying to communicate with you. That's them trying to speak with you, and you're not able to process it.
Right.
So you get that ringing.
So it turns into noise. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's possible. Yeah.
Anything's possible. Believe me. But one of the things I do want to do is actually go back out to that site because that house is no longer there. It's been leveled.
Yeah.
Not only did we have experiences there, but also a few months after we actually moved out of there was a body that was dumped in the ditch right there.
Wow.
Weird fact here. Someone kidnapped a lawyer, killed him, dumped his body there, and took off with his car. All right. Right in the ditch in front of the house. Years later, my cousin married the father to the boy that murdered that lawyer.
Oh.
All weird connections with
Yeah.
that property over the years.
You are three people. Oh, a friend of a friend of a friend from knowing every single person on this planet. Believe me.
Oh, yeah.
I run into people that I know from 30, 40 years ago in the oddest places. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I called out to San Diego for a Comic-Con one year, and I ran into somebody I hadn't seen in 30 years. And it's like, oh my goodness, why are you out here? Well, I live in Maine now. Why are you out here? You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but yeah.
You can go anywhere and meet someone you know.
It's a tiny planet. People don't realize how small it really is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I was up at the Island Resort Casino for my son's 21st birthday, we were sitting in the bar at the end of the night, and this, big kind of burly guy comes over, a huge bushy beard. He goes, "I know you from somewhere. Where do I know you?" I step back. I'm like, "I don't know. I'm Bobbie RezNeck Calkins." We got talking. He's like, "The gas station." I'm like, "Seymour, yeah." Here he was, one of my regulars that came into the gas station I used to manage. He'd go out on the road, come back, grab his couple of sleeves of chew, and take back off. Just out of nowhere. And it was I got a kick out of it, because literally wherever I go, eventually I run into somebody I know or someone that knows somebody I know.
I've had this happen too in you're waiting to get tickets when you're going out to the movies or something, or you're at the checkout line at the supermarket. And I've actually grabbed somebody and said, I know you. And I can't spot your name. And they'll look at you first, like, what planet are you from? But I had once or twice, I've had people go, we do know each other, but I can't place you either. And then you start running through a list of places where maybe we knew each other,
Right.
And in both cases, though, there was never a, maybe it was from the old Rustic Manor. No, it wasn't the Rustic Manor. Did you go to Grace Lake High School? No. Did you go to the University of Illinois? No. Yeah. And we were not able to pin it down. But, regardless of where I met you, I remember you were a great person, and it's good to see you. I'm glad you're still on the same planet, So
right. Well, in some of them cases, that if you can't remember where you guys knew each other from, and you just know you have that feeling that you know each other, it's potentially could have been in a past life. We do carry some of that in our DNA still.
I am open to that possibility as well as being something that maybe is part of the truth of where we go from here. So yeah.
I'm a firm believer in reincarnation. It's not this one and done that a lot of people think. It's not the gloom, doom, darkness, done. No.
Well, I don't want to have anyone think I'm casting aspersions on his name because I'm not. But my old partner, who you mentioned in the intro, that was also known for designing games, was convinced that we had known each other in ancient Egypt, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you really think I'm that old a soul? Oh my God. He said, yeah, you were a very old soul. And he just, it was funny. He sent me a cartouche. He said, this is who you were. I was like, how would you know that? And he didn't want to share with me how he would know that, but yeah, I've saved the cartouche. But
nice. I know I remember being a kid and the parents going away to a convention, the ISA convention, and I was told that this lady comes running out of the room, stops my old man, and goes, I need to give you a reading. You're much older than you think. And this lady claimed that, he was he was an old prophet in the biblical times.
I can believe that. Yeah.
And those of you, I know you guys don't know my old man, Chris does. The old man had a presence about him.
He did.
He walked in a room, all eyes on him.
Well, and he was what, 6'4" at least, maybe 6'6".
6'4", 340 pounds, 350.
And
right
not
around
really,
there.
not fat.
No,
but a gentle giant.
Yes,
very much. He would get upset, but he would never get. It never sparked over into what I would call rage.
No,
and he was very careful not to have that happen. He took very great pains to make sure that he did not release rage, which always kind of shocked me, because who would stand against this guy if he got that kind of mad,
Yeah.
And this is, geez, this steel door is 1/4 inch thick, Bob. What do you think? Bam, yeah.
Yeah, and I know in his younger years, he had that temper. So it took a lot of years to him to learn to control it.
Okay.
Just like I had the same temper. 0 to 60. I'm a chip off the old block. So it's taken me a lot of years to just bite my tongue or stay calm or not just say, you know what, we're going to cuffs,
Wave to Liz. She said hi.
Hi, Liz. Try to acknowledge everyone.
And no, I would, yeah. Well, I still am at this point where I have a tendency to torch before thinking, and I shouldn't.
Right.
But it takes a lot more to get me to torch these days. But still,
right.
Kids will do that for you. Kids will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kids in life.
Well,
you learn lessons.
I before we're not here anymore, at least this time around, I'll have to have you meet my daughter, because she is the same smart ass I always was. She is 100% everything but a penis me. Whereas my son is more my wife. He's 6'3".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6'3" at about 300 pounds, and just gentle, and yeah.
I think I'll get along great with your daughter.
Well, she's got really big hands. No, she's a good kid, and she's smart. She's a smart kid. So Alex is a little bit. He's intelligent without being wise, and I know you, above all people, know exactly what I mean when I say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, they'll do okay. They'll do okay.
Right.
If kid fell in love with Mercury's and Lincolns, for God's sake, though, how smart can he be? I mean, geez.
I hate to admit it, lately, I've been a Ford guy for the last few years. I love my Explorers and my Expeditions.
And about why there's the 2 relays for the fuel pump, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right. The motor I'm going to prepare for my 65 Barracuda in the garage is the original motor from that Land Yacht 67 New Yorker. Because man, was that a motor.
Yeah.
And I'm almost shuddering to think what I'll find, because I haven't cracked the case on it in 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going to be weather froze. We'll see. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm good. It could be 30 over. I don't mind.
Just buy a case of Croyle before you start and soak the shit out of it.
Well, and it's funny. I actually soaked the shit out of it with just kerosene.
Okay.
Yeah. One-way oil.
Doing that.
Yeah, one-way oil. That's one I showed you, Dad. That's how you clean out an old motor. Is you let out half the oil, you fill it up with 2 quarts of kerosene, you let it run at idle for 5 minutes, and you will be horrified by what comes out of the crankcase. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. If you don't destroy your seals in the process.
If you're going to take the engine down and rebuild it anyway, what's the difference? And
True.
if they do start to leak and you hadn't planned on tearing it down, just go around the intake manifold and tighten everything up again. That's why they make torque wrenches.
Oh yeah.
Although not paranormal torque wrenches. It's, you know.
Well, how do you know?
Again.
We don't know if they still do work on the other side.
That's true.
You know, I've been in a few shops, you know, and actually worked in shops that were pretty freaking active. And tools would get moved, or you'd be sitting underneath the car doing something, and you swear you've seen a pair of legs walk by. And you peek out, and there ain't nobody else in the shop with you. Yeah. So, yeah, believe it or not, I've had a few shops like that. Or you hear,
if your dad contacts you, you let him know he's welcome to come and watch me do what I do. So I've learned a few tricks since we hung together. So, you know.
Last time that the old man made himself present to me, I was actually in Shawano County Jail.
Oh.
And I was in a big, I was in a worker's pod, basically.
Okay.
And you know how he would shave in the morning, and by night hair is already scruffy.
Yeah.
You know, the guy had a 5 o'clock shadow. It was beyond a shadow. It's like 5 o'clock beard.
He had 5 o'clock 60 grit. Yeah.
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 So I'm laying there, and I feel that scruffle against my cheek.
Yeah.
And I wake up. Everybody else in the pod sleep. And next thing I know, I smell his cologne, Pierre Cardin.
Yep.
Only cologne I can ever remember the man wearing.
Yep. That's all he ever wore.
Okay. You know? And for that I don't even know if it's even made anymore. You know, to smell that and then have that scruff on the cheek, you know, that's when I knew he was around. I know he's still around. He just doesn't make himself presence. He kind of sits back in the background and watches. One of the things he actually did like to do, he liked to people watch.
Well, and honest to goodness, I think he was telling you, don't worry about it. You'll get through this, and I got your back.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You know, and I know Mom's come through on a few investigations. Now, did you ever have a chance to go to that church in Cicero that was the governing body to their ministries? Active, haunted, old funeral home turned into a church.
Right.
I've done several investigations there now. I'm still in contact, still a member of the ISA, and it's very, very cool. You know, to go back after all these years and do what I do in a place where basically it all started for me. You know, so when we get down, next time I get down to Illinois, and I'm making an event down there at the church, I'll get a hold of you, have you come down.
Yeah, doing them up there.
You know, but yeah, I know you're around for a while. I didn't know if you ever made it to that place, but it is very cool.
The last time I was in Cicero was with your dad, as I remember.
Okay.
We bought a 73 Charger down there for $150. Yeah. Sticky needle and seat. You had to tap it on the carburetor to get it to drive home. That was it. Yeah.
Blue and white?
No, it was brown.
Okay.
It was that copper tone brown that Dodge used to paint them. Yeah.
Okay. I remember we had a blue one with white top for a while that ended up going to one of my sisters.
Okay.
That one I remember. You know. But yes, definitely. Here we went from talking paranormal to talking cars. Well, you know, I think some of them old cars now, some of them might carry a haunting with them. You know, I know, like me, if I still had my Apache Tears, my 68 Charger, and was able to get on the road with it, I'd be attached to it once I left, because that'd be my pride and joy.
Well, that was your dad's baby, yeah.
You know, that was supposed to be my very first race car.
When it wound up going up north from Bensenville, I looked at it and I was like, Bob, I don't think you can save this anymore. This is just too rusty. And it'll be a cold day, you know where, before that car and I are parted. So, you know, no, it's coming. Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll just put some duct tape on it so parts don't fly off going on the road. It's all right.
Right. Yeah. The last time I seen that car was in City Auto Records yard.
Oh.
We had stored some stuff out there. It was supposed to be in a private collection part. Went and got Mom's Belvedere convertible.
Yep.
That she had. Pulled that out of there, and it was parked right next to it, and somebody had got a hold of it and started stripping it.
Oh.
And at that point in time, there was nothing we could do. I had nowhere to store it, nothing to do. So it went bye-bye. Now, my sisters had a theory about one of the cars that we had that you're familiar with, mentioned it earlier, the old Dart, the Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
They swore up and down that car was cursed.
The tilt nose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old ultra wheelbase.
Yeah.
From what we were told, well, because every owner other than Antoine that had it for that short time before Dad had it had passed away. All different circumstances,
right?
But all passed away fairly young. And then Dad passed away, and the next Mom was gone. So they were swapping down. That car was cursed, and they sold it out from underneath me, and the way it went, and I've spent the last 30 years looking for it.
I actually get a feeling from cars.
Mm-hmm.
And that one wanted to run.
Yeah.
It wanted to go back to the track.
Yeah, it wanted to be back together, and it wanted someone to give it the whoopings it needed, and it liked and it enjoyed.
It was, I could take 1,000 horsepower. Let's just go. Yeah.
It would have been the very first front engine wheel stander ever. We would have put 1,000 horse into that thing.
Well, if you could get it to grip enough to pull that front end up, that's the whole thing. Like I said, I learned a few tricks if you need.
Yeah. When I become a rich and famous guy, and I got the Jay Leno garage, we'll put something together.
All right.
Yeah, putting it out in the universe.
That's how we got the. You remember your dad had that white Challenger.
Yeah.
That we put a giant motor in and deep black heads, and it wouldn't hook up. And so I showed him the trick of taking a truck sway bar and putting it in backwards in the rear end.
Yeah.
And why are you going to do that? I said, well, because ladder, as you know, slabber bars don't work on Chrysler because the springs are too flat.
Mm-hmm.
But a sway bar will. So the more it tries to turn, the more it pushes up on the sway bar and stands the car up. Oh my God, that's brilliant! And you remember that thing was running 1290s.
Yeah.
And the sway bar in
it. Yep, you guys. The motor went in overnight. I remember out to the track. And other than that sway bar adjustment, the only thing that he ever did that whole season was change the jets in the carburetor to tune it in so it ran consistent 13s.
Yeah.
So the old man was a genius, and so were you back then with cars.
It's just nuts and bolts. That's what I keep telling everybody. Just nuts and bolts.
So now let's talk a little more about your writing and your gaming stuff. We'll call it the shameless plug side. We do a shameless plug on our show here, and we're getting close to the hour mark, so I want to make sure people know more about you, and if they want to get a hold of you, where they can find you, how they can contact you, maybe buy some of your stuff. So
we do have a website, innercitygamesdesigns.com, which has our full line. We have a large Kickstarter coming up on April 5th, which is the final work that I did with Gary Gygax, the inventor of Dungeons & Dragons. It's our final work together campaign for Dungeons & Dragons. Although we didn't write it with Dungeons & Dragons rules because then they'd want money. We wrote it with a generic system that's really close. But regardless, and there's kind of a funny story to that because you don't do a whole lot with computers, right? Other than this,
not much.
Okay, because of the book writing, I have a 5 terabyte solid state hard drive next to my computers because I've lost a few books over the years to hard drive sailing, and so it gets backed up every 15 minutes. And you have to go through on a hard drive that big. You have to go through and weed through the directory every once in a while, get rid of old files, because otherwise the directory gets too big, and even a really good processor tries to read it and goes, nope, this is too much. I can't handle it. So I'm weeding through it, and I find there's an old file that I'm looking at, and a friend is over from the East Coast that has more dollars and cents, and he says, why has that got a GG after it? And I said, well, that's that last work that I did with Gary Gygax. Oh, you have unpublished work from Gary Gygax on your hard drive. Yeah. Shut up and sit down. We're having a Kickstarter. I'll be back in 10 minutes. That's where that all came from. So, but it's a lot of work. This one is 7 books long. So Holy cow. Yeah. And they need to
Yeah.
be done by June. They're mostly written, but they were written 25 years ago, and I'm better at it these days. So I'm rewriting as I go.
Yeah.
And
cool.
you can also find us on Drive-Thru RPG. You can find me on Facebook. And the next show we'll be doing is in Dallas at North Texas RPG Con. We will be running a number of events and having a good time. So.
When's that at? When is it?
June 1st through 3rd, or May 31st through June 3rd, maybe. Yeah. The place you can go to find out more about, well, you can put in North Texas RPG Con, or you can go to a place called Tabletop Events. And Tabletop Events lists all of the gaming cons all year long. And then you just go to that con, and it tells you who's going to be there and how to get a badge and all that good kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I'll definitely we'll have to get to a con together. I'll go to one of your gaming cons, since I haven't been to one since I was wee little.
And those were fun, weren't they?
Yeah. I remember it was the beginning times of the virtual reality Robotech.
Yes.
The big machines.
Yes. And you remember,
stuff.
I knew all those people. Remember, we used to go up after hours and they'd let us play?
Yeah. That was the only time we got to play.
Yeah.
Everything's closing down, and you run me like, come on, jump in.
We're going to go in here. Yeah. And, I named your guy Huge Organs. Why? Because when they see you, everybody in their little guy is going to go and laugh. And while they're laughing, shoot them a lot. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So then what we'll do is I'll go to one of your cons. You come to one of our Paracons.
There you go. You
know.
Maybe make you a nice slick video.
There you go.
Mars is doing video. That's the other thing. You can also find me if you look under YouTube under the Wisconsin Workout, and you'll see that I have the incredible male physique of a Wisconsinite male, which are far superior to those of other states. But the
beer and cheese curds.
Well, and the exercises are not easy, but you can work your way up to them. So okay, they're not serious either. They're kind of a spoof.
They're for good fun.
They're good fun.
Yes.
But Mars is becoming very adept at videos. So
nice.
And that's enough glad handing for me. That's all right. I actually have about 190 titles that are in print right now through various companies. I lose track of all the stuff I've done. I have fans that come up to me once in a while at shows and say, you wrote this story, didn't you? Did I? Oh, I did.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll sign it for you. Okay. Yeah. I do remember that one. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Or you dusted up. I ain't seen one of these in years.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, just I got to clean my office more often.
Yep.
Yeah. That's from 78. So every time I clean my office, I find what they call collectibles, and I just throw them on the market and make a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
And then I buy cars with them.
Yeah.
Or tickets to Cicero next time around. So.
There's no tickets needed for you, buddy.
All right.
Yeah. So, we're at our hour. Normally, I try to keep to the hour so people don't get bored with us.
Sure.
But definitely, I do want to get you out on a paranormal investigation, show you some of these cool tools we got out there and toys that we play with, and when things go bump in the night.
I'm sure I will be fascinated, to be honest with you. So
definitely. And then definitely, I want to get together and go one of your game cons. I really
do. And we do play online too, so I'll get you into some of our online games, including we still play Inner City online. So
that'd be interesting. There you go.
Yeah.
And I do actually, I've been working on something over here on the side about a paranormal role-playing game.
I know very interesting. Yeah.
I know we spoke about it once, and me and one of the little bros up here kind of just started joking around one day, and we got a couple of pages of ideas put together, and we'll have to call you in for it.
Sounds like it could be fun.
Yes, it does. I think it'd be something that all of us in the paranormal could actually sit down and have a blast doing and laugh our asses off. And
well, I don't know if I can tell you how to make it successful. I can show you how to make it without spending a lot of money.
Yep. That's the way we do it.
That's the way we do it.
I ain't trying to make a killing. I'm just trying to have fun and enjoy life and leave something behind for those that are future to come, for generations that go, hey, this crazy engine did it. Why can't I?
Well, My mom used to always say, leave a stream of happy faces behind you in this life.
Yep. Smart woman.
Smart woman. She's a
Yep.
good kid. Yep. Yep.
You know, I liked your mom. I remember fond memories of just a few times I got to meet her and hang out with her.
Yeah. All right.
So, all right. I suppose, well, if y'all, you know how to get hold of me, Bobbie RezNeck Calkins on Facebook. Jump over to the Red Road Paranormal YouTube channel. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe. It helps with the algorithm.
Mash the thumbs up button too.
Yes, that helps a lot. Also, go to the All Access Network YouTube. Give a thumbs up over there. Other places to find me is TikTok. I don't put much up on there because I haven't really had much of a response. But you guys start hitting me up on TikTok, I'll start posting more over there. So other than that, I'd like to bid you adieu, y'all. And Gwen, take us away.